Hey there, comic fam. Bullseye Bob here, and welcome to Everything Comics. And welcome to another episode of reviews, previews, and back issue breakdowns. This is going to be my first video that I've done in a couple of weeks. And I did announcement video a couple of weeks or about a week ago, let you all know what was going on with me. It's just been an extremely overwhelming season for me. And I really wanted to get back into doing more content. And so, but a lot of things have been going on with me. And so in that video, I let you guys know that I had been sick, and you guys know I've had all my back problems with work and also church duties ramping up. Here lately, I've just been completely overwhelmed. And so it's been very hard to put out any content or to try to keep up with the grind of putting out content. One of the things that people don't tell you when you get into this thing is that you need to constantly keep putting stuff out. And otherwise, it's very easy to lose your viewer base and all those type of things. And sometimes that can be a grind. And don't get me wrong, I love what I do. I have so much fun doing it. But again, this is a hobby for me. And so I really appreciate all the support that you guys gave me. I didn't respond to a single comment on that announcement video, but I will tell you that I received so many comments from you guys giving me support and showing me love, and I just want to let you know how much that touched me. And so I wanted to let you all know personally, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for all the words of well wishes, to get better, that it was okay to take it easy. Don't feel like I need to put out, content and just to get better and get myself back into a place where I'm okay. And so I really appreciate that, guys. Again, I am so blown away by this community. And it's one of the things that just keeps me going and keeps me coming back for more, because the support that you all have given me and the relationships that I've formed through this channel have just blown me away. So thank you so very much for who you are and for how you've treated me, because I've just really been blown away by it. And I plan to continue to put out videos. Of course, I'm on the brand new coffee and comic show every week with Bueller, and you can always catch me there. And when I can, I will put out content, sometimes on a regular basis, sometimes because of life just happening, it may be a little more sparse, but I will be here. So very cool. So as you can tell, this is going to be my new comic book day reviews for the comic books that just came out this last Wednesday on January 27th. And so that's what this is going to be about. And because of the fact that I got so much to do today, I'm going to try to do this for the first time in a one and done video that you're going to see here. Kind of in the same style that my good buddy Damien, Sleepy Reader, does. Sometimes you see John from John's Comics with Kids. He does this. There are a lot of people that just do it straight and no editing. And I prefer the editing because I make so many mistakes and I forget a lot of things. And so you'll probably see me mess up a bunch of times here. You get to see the real uncut Bob. That's okay. I don't care. I just really wanted to put a video out today, and I'm glad to be back. And but again, like I said, I got so much going on today that I can't do the edited version. So we're going to do new comic book day reviews. So before I get into that, I did want to say, just like I said on the announcement video, I know that my giveaway did not go the way I had hoped it would. There were a bunch of you that thought you had signed up that I did not get to see based on a couple of different things. And so again, I'm working with a couple of people to see how I may be able to do something else to make it worth everybody's while. I really want to do that because I didn't want anybody to feel like they had missed out. And I really appreciate you guys. And this was my way of saying thank you to you guys for supporting me. This is in no way, a giveaway to create more buzz for my channel or to gain more subscriptions. This was purely my way of saying thank you. and I want to continue in that spirit. And so let's see. More announcements. I had a couple of different things. Of course, this Monday, Monday morning, 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can catch me on the Comics with Bueller channel. My good buddy Bueller and I will get together and we'll do the brand new coffee and comic show. I think this episode this Monday is going to be very special because of the fact the subject that we're doing. It's going to be have you or are you experiencing comic book burnout? And I know that all of us have at some point or another. And there was a comment that was left on one of Bueller's videos that was very heartfelt and touched us both. And that was the basis for this particular subject. And so I hope you tune in for that. I think it's going to be a great conversation. It always is. And we have a great time. And so, again, Monday morning, 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, please come check us out. And then, as always, this used to be the having comics with my coffee, and it's not called that anymore. It's not really a coffee show, but I'm still, completely supported by the Refuge Coffee House right here at 9217 Southeast Foster Road here in Portland. It's a great coffee house. If you're ever here in Portland, you got to look them up. Right now, they're struggling because of the restrictions. And so if you do me a favor, down in the description is a link to their website. Go check them out. They've got things that you can buy, like swag, and they also have coffee and just a bunch of different stuff that you can buy. And I'd really appreciate it if you go check out and see if there's something that you like, because every little bit goes to help keeping the lights on and keeping them afloat until things come back to normal. So thank you guys very much for doing that. So we're going to go ahead and get into our comic book reviews. This is not going to be a very heavy week for comics. I am so behind on my reading. It's not even funny. I mean, literally, I wasn't making videos, but I really wasn't reading much as well. And that's kind of, not usual for me. And so I'm way behind in a lot of my reading. And so you're not going to probably see as many comics as you do here normally on the review show. But I'm going to go ahead and take a drink of coffee and get into it. All right. So here are the comic book reviews. And again, you're going to see this will be a little bit different because I don't have the graphics on the screen. I won't, you won't have the normal cuts that you normally see, anything like that. This is raw and unedited. Couple more things just really quick. First of all, I wanted to say normally I do my cover of the week and my panel of the week. Probably not going to get into that on this particular episode. But I will say that a partner of the show is the Rogue Trader. You can see their link down in the description, the roguetraderutah.com. They're a partner of the show. They do have a great pressing and cleaning service. That's who I use for all of my pressing and cleaning. You can use the code everything20 on their website, and you can get 20% off your first pressing and cleaning, or maybe one of the comic books that they have there for sale on their website. But go check them out. Eric is the owner, and he is a great, great asset to the comic book community, personal friend, and definitely a partner of the show. So go check them out. And then before you guys know, TKO was also a partner of the show. Right now, the partnership is kind of separate. What I mean by that is that I'm not offering a code anymore because anybody can go to their website and get 20% off right now. So you don't need to use, everything 20 on their website. Go check out TKO. They got a lot of great stuff. We're talking about some things going forward on maybe a little bit deeper of a discount, or being able to use that code again, because I really like to keep partnering with them. But right now, you don't have to use everything 20. You can go to their website and they got a 20% off immediately on anything that you buy. So go check them out. They got a lot of great stuff. All right. Now, finally into the comics. Okay, so our first comic this week is Strange Academy #7. And this one is, of course, written by Scotty Young, and the art by Humberto Ramos. And, again, this is a comic series that I didn't even know that I wanted. When it was first solicited, I wasn't interested in it because bottom line, it was like, I don't know if I want to see Harry Potter in the Marvel universe, because that's what it felt like it was going to be. But I started reading it. It was so much greater than that, and I really enjoyed it all the way through. This is the only comic this week that I didn't have the. I wasn't able to read the previous issue, so I didn't get to read issue number 6. But it didn't take me long to get what was going on. In this particular issue, we have Doyle, Dormammu, I can't remember her name, Emily. And basically, they've been kind of in a relationship, and she has this moment with Doyle where they have a kiss. And once they have that kiss, all of Doyle's fire goes into her, and he basically all his power is taken away. And that's pretty much where the crux of this story happens for the rest of the way. You have 2 kids who are now in danger. She's absorbed all his power. She's unconscious, and also Doyle is unconscious, and he's got to figure out a way to save both kids now. And basically, with all his power, he can't do it, and ends up having to go back to I can't think of the big tiger god's name. I know that they're part of the Vishanti. And basically, this is the being that is creating the ability for them to have the school in the first place. And he's got to go ask for another favor in saving Emily. And in doing so, basically leaving Doyle to his own fate, which is completely being burned out, and having the possibility of his fire being reignited by his dad, which they don't want, because then he would have Dormammu's fire instead of his own. And so that's kind of the crux of this story. I really love Scotty Young's writing. So much fun, so delightful to read. It's very quality. I mean, a lot of stuff that's coming out from Marvel right now, just to be honest, I'm very disappointed in. But this is one of the books that on a monthly basis is just really good. I did like the artwork inside of it. I do love Humberto Ramos's stuff normally. But in this book, there were a couple of places where I think he went a little too over-exaggerated in places. But all in all, really, really well done. I love the colors. The colors in this are really dynamic, very well done. I think the colors is done by Edgar Delgado. And but very good read. I definitely enjoyed it very much. And on a monthly basis, this is one of the better books that's coming out of Marvel right now. So definitely check out Strange Academy if you haven't been on it. Okay, cool. There was the first comic book down. Didn't have to worry about any edits. Hope that went well. It's kind of nerve-wracking because I don't have all my notes. Normally I have notes, and I'm a little more detailed. Because my problem is I can't remember sometimes what I just read, and to be able to talk about it competently, because I get so excited and I forget things. So, but there we go. All right, so the next book up was Something is Killing the Children, number 14. Of course, this one written by James Tynion IV, art by Werther Dell'Edera, and the colors by Miguel Muerto. And look, Something is Killing the Children. I mean, month over month, hands down, it's always a great book. Always. I haven't had a bad issue since the beginning of this thing, and issue number 14 was just as good. Last issue, at the very end, we had our girl Erica. Is that her? It's not Erica. Yeah, it's Erica Slaughter, right? See what I'm saying? My mind, no notes. She basically has that little thing that she talks to, and she basically told it to reveal itself to the children that she's in the room with. And so I've been excited to see what this thing is. And I know we've kind of seen it before, but now we got it manifested. And it's a really creepy demon kind of looking creature that comes out of this like octopus type thing. And you can see at the top of the page here kind of what he looks like. And so we get a little more background into the House of Slaughter and the kind of supernatural element that drives them or gives them some of the powers that they have. And it's revealed that this particular being is, basically Erica controls it. But in order for that to happen, this being kind of did some bad things to her in her past. And so there's like kind of a love-hate relationship between the two. You can definitely tell. And amazing kind of supernatural element. I was really surprised by it. But this book, I think, is the first one that goes probably deeper into Erica's past and the elements from the House of Slaughter than most of the rest of the books. Of course, we still have the rest of the members of the House of Slaughter with all the parents of the town, and they're still in this place of getting ready to possibly just wipe them all out and clean them all up. And we have a few of the town members that are coming up with different ways to kind of stall that. So that's happening inside of this book. But for the most part, we are basically having Erica use the kids with this being to manifest the creatures, or basically the creature's mother, so that she lures them in. And then Erica basically has this whole scene where she goes to town. I mean, she literally rips these things up. And it's just awesome. I had such a fun time reading this particular issue. I always love the colors inside of this. The panel work is definitely keeps the same pacing that it has through all the books. And I mean, it's just a fantastic read. Something is killing the children. I know it, the secret is, it's not a secret anymore. I mean, there's a lot of people who are reading this now, and I really just hope that James Tynion and the team continues to put these books out month over month, because this is just quality stuff, and I love reading it. So there you go. Something is Killing the Children, number 14. Awesome issue. Okay, the next one is Department of Truth, number 5. I think this one is. Yes. See, again, I don't have my glasses on and no notes, but I think this is issue 5. I'm pretty sure this is issue 5. Normally I get the A cover, but my LCS did not have the A cover. They are going to get that one for me. Nothing wrong with the B cover, but I pretty much don't get all the covers for everything, and I usually kind of stick with the A cover because that's usually the one that's the most collectible. But again, James Tynion spinning another great tale month over month. This is another one of those that's just. See, here's a part that I would normally edit out. Excuse me. Whew, I gotta sneeze. Thank you for everybody who just said bless you. All right. So, again, the story starts off, and it's that real surreal artwork. It makes it feel like you're kind of living inside of this fog through the story as it unfolds. And of course, in the last issue, there were a couple of reporters who came in, and we got more of the Department of Truth kind of taking the main character Cole and putting him to the test to see if he's really serious. And basically, they've tasked him up to go into this room, basically saying these two reporters are part of the Black Hat organization, who kind of is the counter to the Department of Truth. And he's tasked up to kill them. And so this book revolves around, now that he's killed them, he's got this, kind of sick feeling in his stomach. He just murdered 2 people. He goes back to his home, and the leader of the Black Hat is there to greet him and starts basically unwinding the tale to such a point to now we're getting into that counter espionage thing on which faction is the good guy or the bad guy, or is that even an issue? Is there good or bad inside of this? Or is it just 2 particular factions that are fighting against each other, and you can't really look at them as good or bad? And, because of the things that he lays out to him, what's the actual truth now? And that's the main thing about this particular story, is that they lay down the fact that whoever controls truth controls the world. And that's the crux of the fight that we got going on here. Who's going to control the truth? And but again, the artwork inside of this, I just love. Who is the guy that does this? Martin Simons. And then, of course, the lettering inside of here by Aditya Bidikar. Great stuff. It's still got that feeling of, the word bubbles, being pasted in there like little pieces of paper, counter to the word bubble that's around. I can't know if you can see that, but it basically looks like there was a word bubble there before, but now there's this new piece of paper that's there that's kind of skewed. And it really makes it to great effect, because now you don't know really what's truth or what's not, or what may have been there before. But we get a little more into Cole and where the story is going. I'm really excited to get into it. And as you can see, that same artwork, just amazing. But basically, they said that this war has been going on for hundreds of years. But where the tipping point really happened was on the day that JFK was assassinated. And that was the day that everything, the balance of power has tipped. And now we're at a place inside of history with the story going on with Cole here, where the Black Hat Society, I want to say society, Black Hat Society, Black Hat, whatever they're called, may be in a position to finally tip the balance of power back. And so now Cole's in a position where seeds have been planted. Now, whether or not he goes with what has just been told to him or not, I don't know. But it's kind of fun to think about, now what's the truth and what side is right. Or even if there is a right or wrong, And I think that's the fun part of this book. You're living in this place where everything's kind of foggy. You got these new concepts coming in. And at the same time, it's like a fight for your soul that's happening, and which side are you going to lay on? And it's just done brilliantly. Love the book, month over month, just dig it. Of course, you know me, Daredevil number 26 is finally out. They didn't have the A cover on this one, but I got both of the connecting covers. And of course, I've been buying so many of the Daredevil 25 reprints. There's been so many good books with some amazing covers that have been coming out for my favorite Marvel book. And this, to me, hands down, even though I'm always a huge Daredevil fan, this is the best book that Marvel is putting out right now. And month over month, I just absolutely love it. Of course, we got the big reveal in issue 25 that while Matt is in prison as Daredevil with the mask on, outside, Elektra has taken on the mantle of Daredevil. That's no spoiler now. I love that concept. I don't think I've ever loved Elektra so much as I do right now. And the promise that she's made to Matt that she won't kill makes it just that much better, because we're not going to get a kind of different version of Daredevil. We're going to get Daredevil. We're going to get Elektra kind of being Matt as much as she can for Hell's Kitchen, and I just love that. Of course, this particular issue, I really, as far as all the tie-ins for the King in Black, this is one of them. And I didn't mind this one as much as some of the other ones. The other ones just, they're the normal, doesn't really have any bearing on the story. But this one was kind of cool because, it basically is a peripheral vision of what's going on to the main narrative of the King in Black, while also still fleshing out some of the things that have been going on in the Daredevil story. I did love the artwork inside of this. We still have Chichetto mostly on the pencils here, but we do have another artist in there with him as well. But the thing I think I liked the most was that inside of this particular book, they did flesh out more of the mask wearing and how people view that, how Matt is getting used to it, and his understanding of it, and just how much different it is, and what type of bearing that's going to have in the future. Also, we get some really cool scenes with Elektra as Daredevil, And I just love Chichetto's pencils. Um, but I mean, as a story as a whole, you could tell that this was something that they pretty much had to do, because the whole king and I'm always mixed up on which side. Here we go. There we go. I want you to see the Electra's Daredevil there. Anyway, I don't know how Sleepy Reader does that because it's all backwards on my camera and there's the glare and all that. Damien, I'm trying, bro. Anyway, you can tell that this is something that, Chip Zdarsky had to deal with because of the King in Black storyline. But he still is able to keep with his, kind of the narrative that's been going on in the book. So I really enjoyed that. So it wasn't a complete break from the normal story. Ever since Elektra's taken on the mantle in the last issue, and we know that Typhoid Mary is kind of been with Wilson Fisk ever since the Battle of Hell's Kitchen. I've kind of felt that there's going to be a confrontation between Elektra and Typhoid Mary, which I'd love to see. So it actually happens inside of this book, and it didn't happen in the way that I wanted it to, because basically we have a nullized Typhoid Mary, and I'd rather see just regular Typhoid Mary go up against her, but it is what it is. And then, of course, the symbiotes, they invade the prison where Matt is at, and while he's fighting, he gets taken over too, just like most of the rest of the heroes. And this is the part about the book that I wasn't too crazy about, because now that Matt has been taken over, very last page and reveal, I hope this is not spoilers too much earlier, but there's your nullized version of Daredevil, which I'm not crazy about. I really hope that resolves quickly, because it's just trite. I didn't like the artwork on it. I don't like the design on it, and it's just not the way I was hoping the story would go. So there you have it. I mean, I love the issue, but at the same time, there were some elements of it that I could have done without as well. But all in all, Daredevil 26, still a good read. And just as far as the King in Black tie-in, not that bad. So there you have it. Okay, on to our next book, and it's Post Americana #2. This by Image Comics. This one is written by Steve Scroce, art by Dave Stewart. And, last month when I got this book, there was some really visceral stuff. Of course, it's, post-apocalyptic, and, I'm kind of burnt out on the whole post-apocalyptic thing. It just seems to be done over and over, especially in indie books. But the last issue, there were some things there, even though it was visceral, it was gross, and some places just not my thing. I also couldn't stop reading it, and so I actually kind of enjoyed that first issue. So I thought I would take a dive into issue #2, and it's the same thing. I mean, this thing is just gross, visceral, pretty much the worst elements that you can think of for a post-apocalyptic story. You can see the artwork there. I actually like the artwork inside of this book, but as much as it's gross and visceral, language is over the top. When I don't really care for that stuff. I couldn't stop reading it. There was just some really cool elements that I think this book is taking chances where some others are not. And so there's this piece of it that I can't put it down. And so I may continue it in issue #3. But I'm really am liking the artwork, especially all the action and the gross elements. It's kind of morbidly fascinating. But the story basically is revolving around this guy who was part of the kind of United States that's still standing with the president and a government and a military, and the rest of the world is kind of against them because they're all out in the wastelands. And so the government has a plan to start taking over those wastelands and taking it back and kind of wiping out all of the trash that's out there. And there's a faction that's in the government that basically knows what the government's doing, and they kind of blow everything up. And the first mission that's out there has this one guy as part of it. He crash lands into the middle of the wasteland with all these bad factions, and he's the only survivor, and he ends up meeting this girl who is enhanced with biotech and nanotechnology, and they basically are working together in the wasteland to get back to his home where he needs to be. I think it's his home. Anyway, they're working to get back to where the government is at, and he's got all the information that will help them, regain the United States, basically. But in the end, there was just a lot of fun inside of this. I don't know if you can see some of the artwork there. That's her with her nanotechnology kind of enhanced arms and stuff. And it was just a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun reading it. And so I don't know if you're reading Post Americana, but as visceral as it is, there's an element to it that's just a lot of fun. And I'm gonna pick it up again next month. We'll see what happens. Normally this stuff is not my cup of tea, especially when it gets that much into the language and just complete brutality. But I'm morbidly curious. So anyway, there you go. Post Americana #2. Okay, so next one up on the list is Future State Dark Detective #2. Of course, this one by DC Comics. This one is I can't remember Tamaki's first name. Let me get to that really quick. See, notes. Mariko Tamaki, of course, and then the pencils by Dan Mora. I love Dan Mora's artwork, and Mariko Tamaki, I love her stuff as well. But I got to say that out of all of the stuff that the Future State is doing, this is probably one of my favorite of the reads. I don't know if it's because we still have Bruce Wayne, as Batman inside of this, or a version of Batman. But with the artwork that's been done by Dan Mora, the colors. Let me talk about the colors. So inside of these Future State books, one of the things that DC has done is they've really upped their game when it comes to color work. And some of it, they look like they've kind of basically raided the stable from Boom Studios for some of the coloring that they're doing. And I'm really enjoying it. But having said that, there's a couple of books where don't have much substance and the artwork is subpar, and then they still put this dynamic coloring on the page, and it just kind of, you can tell the disparity of what they're doing, and it's not really that well thought out, and I kind of don't enjoy that part of it. But I really wish that they would take this this feeling that they have inside of this Future State with some of this dynamic color work, and they would really use that going forward, because I've really been enjoying it. So this book revolves around, of course, Bruce. The magistrate has basically, and so they pretty much killed Bruce Wayne, and they think that they've killed Batman, and that's the crux of this whole thing, is that Bruce realizes that the magistrate somehow knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he's trying to unravel the mystery of how they know that. There was this one guy called Peacekeeper 1, and he's the one that basically takes and goes after Bruce. And there's a scene where there's a body that kind of floats in the water in the place where this Peacekeeper 1 is shooting at Bruce Wayne, and the body is kind of taking the place, and so they think he's dead. And of course we know he's not. And so Bruce is working in the background to kind of unravel this mystery. There's some kind of fun in this apartment that he's in with this crazy guy. That's kind of where he's living now. The hijinks on that is a lot of fun to read. But I mean, Dan Moore's pencils, I just enjoyed all the way through. The panel work is amazing. And like I said, some of the coloring that they're using for this future state stuff, I'm just really enjoying. And so we get to the end of this story, and we're realizing that the magistrate has basically taken and subverted some of the Wayne Tech stuff, and they've got spies everywhere. So Bruce has to really be careful about what he's doing. But basically, the crux of it is he's going to be going after this Peacekeeper one, I think, if that's what it's going to be, so that he can find out just how they know. The second part of this book is a Red Hood story, and it was written by Joshua Williamson, and you guys know how much I love Williamson's writing. I just did not enjoy the artwork inside of this, and it really bothered me. It kind of felt like the same type of artwork that you would get on like comic strip type stuff in the funny paper on Sundays. And sometimes that works on things, but I just think inside of this, it didn't work. And with the Red Hood, the magistrate is basically using the Red Hood to go after masked people, which is basically right up, that character's wheelhouse. We get Rose. I don't even think anybody calls her Ravager anymore. And she shows up, but I mean, really, before I got to the end of the story, I was just disinterested. I think the artwork put me off, and I just couldn't get into it. I'll probably revisit it again because it's Williamson, and I've never gone wrong with his stuff, and so I'm kind of interested to get his take on it. But I really got to divorce myself from the artwork because it really bothered me. So, and that dynamic coloring I was talking about, it's just not there. And there's some choices that the artist made that just looks to me dumpy and stupid. Like this character here on the top of the screen with this kind of bullet on his head. Anyway, it didn't make sense. And so I was disappointed in that part of the book. But again, I'll go back and revisit it just to check it out because I was really put off by it. So, but there you go. Dark Detective #2, Future State. Next book up on the list is Future State 2. Starting now. Future State Suicide Squad #1. This one is, again, no notes. This one written by Robbie Thompson. Artist is Javier Fernandez. And, of course, the colors on this is done by Alex Sinclair, which you can't beat that. And that's the only thing that I liked about this book was the colors. As you can see, the spray of colors across the page, just amazing. And, I mean, I've always liked Alex Sinclair's artwork or colors, the blues that he uses. I mean, just amazing. But basically, the story doesn't even revolve around the Suicide Squad. It's basically a group of villains that they're calling the Justice Squad that Amanda Waller is pulling the strings on. And they look like the Justice League, so they're impersonating the Justice League. And again, just like the last story, I just couldn't get into it. I didn't care about any of the characters. At the very end, you have the actual Suicide Squad showing up. And I guess that was cool. There they are right there. And looks like they're going to be led by Peacekeeper. It's so hard to do a book and introduce all new characters. And even though a lot of these characters are not new, to try to make them into a cohesive force that I care about on the page, I just didn't. And so, I was really disappointed in it. Had high hopes for it. I mean, that last run that we got from Tom Taylor on Suicide Squad was amazing. If you guys didn't check that out this last year, you definitely should, because it's probably one of the best versions of Suicide Squad that I've read in a long time. And then, of course, in the second half of the book, we get a Black Adam story. This one done by Jeremy Adams. And again, best thing about that story is the colors. And there's some elements that I liked inside of it, like you get Superman Prime coming out, and but I really didn't get that this was a Black Adam centric story. Black Adam kind of shows up at the end. Again, look at the colors, just amazing. And I wish that they would use this level on everything that they do, because man, is it good. But again, this story, just like and not all of Future State is this way. But in my picks this week, I only got a few of them. I wish I would have got the Aquaman book. I heard that was really good. I'm gonna basically go back and get that one. I was trying not to get all of the Future State. I can't afford to buy them all. But in my reading of the Future State stuff this week, besides the Dark Detective story, I was really disappointed in what I was reading. So there you have it. Also by DC Comics, you got Joker, Harley, Criminal Insanity #7 that's come out. And you guys know I've really enjoyed this from the very beginning. This, of course, in the magazine format that they started using for Black Label. I love the way they're using Harley inside of this. I've loved the artwork from the very beginning. But I will have to say that, even though the artwork is still very good, it's not as good as it was in the very beginning. I think some of the artwork was done by Mike Mayhew in the very beginning. And since he's been off of it, it's still good, but it's just not as good. And we're starting to get down to, getting to the end of the story where Harley is basically tracking down the Joker. I really think that when we get to the end of this, we're going to get the natural born killers. The Joker is a bit different take inside of this. It kind of reminds me of, if you ever saw the series Lecter, which is, Hannibal Lecter, of course, with Mads Mikkelsen. The main killer in the first season basically used their serial killing to create artwork. And so that's kind of this version of the Joker inside of here. He's become creative with the way he's doing his kills. And all of a sudden, it just kind of struck him to do it differently. And now you're getting a different type of kill every time the Joker goes out and kills. Harley's hot on his tail, but as we see on the last page, of course, we're getting closer to Harley becoming Harley. And I think she's going to be just as much of an artist as the Joker as we finally get close. And so, anyway, it was a good read. Really enjoying it. I will to say that this was kind of it didn't wow me, but it was on par with the last issue, and so I'm really enjoying to see where it goes next. And yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with this particular storyline, because the artwork is really good, and it's a different take on Harley, and I'm really enjoying it. So that's it. That's the books for this week. If I had to do a pick of the week, I would probably say my pick of the week was Something is Killing the Children. I enjoyed that one the most, and then probably Strange Academy after that. Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed that. It was good to be back for a video to do some reviews. I hope you guys don't mind too much the unedited version of my reviews, but without the notes, it felt kind of weird, and I felt lost in a couple of places. But I hope you guys didn't notice that too much. But again, you guys, thank you very much. I really appreciate you so much for all the support that you've given me, and especially all those heartfelt comments
that you put on that announcement video. I just thank y'all so much. A lot of great comics going to come out this next week. I'm really looking forward to getting into reading what's coming out. And definitely tune in on Monday morning to the brand new Coffee and Comic Show, because it's going to be a good one. But all in all, folks, I'm here to stay. I'm back. Really appreciate you watching the video. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, folks, always support your local comic shop, and Excelsior. Y'all take care. Bye.